And we're off to the races. The Golden Globe nominations just broke, so I'm going to give you the nominations for the major film categories as well as my thoughts on them. It's very exciting because, we've had a couple of nominations announced for smaller awards shows and, critic circles, but the Golden Globes, right after the Oscars, this is the big one, and it's also a bit of a trendsetter for the Oscars as well. So we will see what we've got. So let's just start. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to go through, as I said, the major film categories. We're starting off with Best Picture Drama. We've got Argo, Django Unchained, Life of Pi, Lincoln, and Zero Dark 30. I don't think there are any huge surprises there. I think those are all nice choices. The only one, I haven't seen Life of Pi or Zero Dark 30, but I think that I would be happy with either Argo, Django, or Lincoln. I think Zero Dark 30, if I had to handicap it, would be the favorite, just because of the way things have been going for that film, and I just don't see Lincoln as a Best Picture at this point, based on the other the other wins it's been getting, and I think Argo might be a little too small, and Django a little light on the deeper meaning. So I would pick Zero Dark 30 out of that list. Okay, now we have Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. And for those of you who don't know, the Golden Globes are interesting because they split their Best Actor, Best Actor and Best Picture by musical comedy, and then also by drama. So they kind of can have their cake and eat it too. It's their equivalent to the Oscars, like 10 nominations. All right, so Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. We have Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. That was one of the surprises. That's gotten a lot of attention, but I think that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association tends to be very sympathetic towards older skewing films and older actors and older talent. So I think that it's a surprise to see it here, but when you realize where it's showing up and with the Golden Globes, it makes sense. So Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, Les Mis, Moonrise Kingdom, Salmon Fishing in the Yemen, and Silver Linings Playbook. That's the other big surprise, Salmon Fishing in the Yemen. That has a nice showing today, and I saw that film, I rented it over the summer. I would say I loved that film. I'm very happy to see it here. It's actually on my own personal top 10 list for the year. And it reminds me actually a lot of Beginners, which is another Ewan McGregor film, which Christopher Plummer won Best Supporting Actor for last year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that actually walk away, and maybe I would hope to see it maybe in the Oscars. It's a very good film. And so for the Best Picture there, though, I'm starting to hear negative buzz about Les Mis, so while I would have thought that was the front runner, I feel this race is wide open. With the exception of Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, I would be surprised to see that actually get a win, and I maybe be surprised to see Salmon Fishing in the Yemen get a win, because I don't know if they even have, maybe they do have the publicity machines if they got on this list. But I think, maybe we would see a win for Moonrise Kingdom here, which I think would be really nice. Okay, Best Actor in a Drama. Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln, Richard Gere for Arbitrage, which is also a surprise. They were really pushing for him for the whole film for awards, but particularly Richard. So it's nice to see that paid off. They got him the nomination. John Hawkes for The Sessions, Joaquin Phoenix for The Master, and Denzel Washington for Flight. Very interesting with The Master here. There's you'll see the actors got nominations, all three, but there was no nominations for picture, screenplay, or director. So I think that's a little bit of a rejection of The Master on that part. Daniel Day-Lewis, I feel, is going to walk away with this. Anyone who's seen Lincoln knows that you just have to give him the award, even though he's won before. And also, other thing I think is interesting here is Denzel Washington is pretty much the only nomination for Flight here. So I think that's not a good sign for the film. And then also John Hawkes, he could win. I mean, he has a very impressive performance, but I just think it's great that he's getting all these nominations. I think I'd like to see him take his career to the next level at this point, and he might have to actually get a win instead of making these much smaller films. But I think this is Daniel Day-Lewis's award, and the only person who might steal it from him is John Hawkes. Okay, Best Actress Drama. We have Jessica Chastain, Zero Dark 30, Marion Cotillard, Rust and Bone, Helen Mirren, Hitchcock, the only Hitchcock nomination, Naomi Watts, The Impossible, and Rachel Weisz, The Deep Blue Sea. She's gotten a few other Best Actress nominations from some other places already. This is an interesting group of actresses. I feel Jessica Chastain will probably walk away with this. From what I've been hearing about Zero Dark 30, she was a huge buzz last year with all of her roles, and she got a lot of awards attention, and I feel that this might be the chance for her to actually walk away with an award. She might have won something for The Help now that I think about it, but I don't know off the top of my head. I don't see Marion Cotillard winning, maybe. Yeah, I feel the other films are a little smaller. Helen Mirren for Hitchcock, maybe because they like older actresses, as I mentioned, actors and actresses. Naomi Watts, maybe for The Impossible. I hear she's really amazing in that film. I would be surprised if Rachel Weisz walked away with it. So my top pick is Jessica Chastain, with maybe Cotillard, Mirren, or Watts, a possible upset. Okay, now on to Best Actor, Musical, or Comedy. Jack Black, Bernie. As I said yesterday in a video that I posted, Bernie has such amazing awards momentum. It just came out of nowhere in the independent circuit, and they're doing a great job promoting it. So I think this is not the last we've seen of Bernie. So Jack Black, Bernie, Bradley Cooper, Silver Linings Playbook, Hugh Jackman, Les Mis, Ewan McGregor, Salmon Fishing in the Yemen, and Bill Murray, Hyde Park on the Hudson. I think that's the only ridiculous nomination here. With all due respect to Bill Murray, I think he's a great actor. I really like what he's done with his career in the second part here, but I feel that everything I've heard about this film is horrible, and that it's somewhat offensive to the memory of FDR, and I think that Bill Murray's horribly miscast. You know, I mean, he has some of them. He can hold the cigarette correctly in his mouth from what I've seen, but I just think that might be a pity nomination, because that was supposed to be a really big contender, awards contender, that film, Hyde Park on the Hudson, and it just isn't. So with this category, this is an interesting category. This is anyone's shot. I don't know who would get this. I think any one of these guys could get it, which is exciting. Who would I personally be rooting for? I'd actually be rooting for Ewan McGregor in Salmon Fishing in the Yemen. I just think that I love what he's done with his career. He's great. He's really nice. I actually spoke to him on the red carpet last night at The Impossible for an advanced screening that's going to go up today as well. And he was so nice. He was a really nice guy. All right. Best Actress, Musical or Comedy. Emily Blunt, Salmon Fishing in the Yemen. Judi Dench, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Jennifer Lawrence, Silver Linings Playbook. Maggie Smith, Quartet. You know, you would think maybe Best Exotic Marigold Hotel as well, but Quartet is the Dustin Hoffman directed film about a retirement home for musicians and singers. And then also Meryl Streep for Hope Springs. I think that's also a little bit of a crazy nomination. The Golden Globes does stuff like that. I feel that they really detract from their credibility. So they shouldn't do that kind of stuff. Who's going to win here? I think Jennifer Lawrence. I think huge buzz for her for Silver Linings Playbook. She might be what the industry has pegged as the awards winner for that film. As you might be aware, sometimes they will do that. The whole industry will kind of get together in consensus and decide, we really like this movie, and we're trying to spread out the wealth in terms of awards. So Silver Linings Playbook will be able to say it's a Golden Globe Oscar-winning film because of Jennifer Lawrence. That's who we've picked. So that's interesting. Okay, so let's move on to Best Supporting Actor. Now, they don't divide this. This is just for the supporting and director and screenplay and such. It's just a general category. They don't do drama versus comedy and musical. So Best Supporting Actor, we have Alan Arkin for Argo, Leonardo DiCaprio for Django Unchained, Philip Seymour Hoffman for The Master, Tommy Lee Jones for Lincoln, and Christoph Waltz again for Django Unchained. That's funny to see Django Unchained competing with itself in this category. Both are excellent performances. I think Christoph Waltz, I'm surprised they nominated him again, because he won for Inglourious Basterds, same category. So I would be surprised if he would win again. I think his performance is good, but not good enough for a repeat win. Who do I think? Alan Arkin, I think Alan Arkin has considerable buzz, but you know what? It would be nice to see DiCaprio start to actually get some of these awards instead of just always being nominated. So I'm kind of rooting for him. I would be surprised if The Master walked away with this. And, you know, I think Tommy Lee Jones is worthy of a nomination, sure, but he was, in Lincoln, I thought he was just Tommy Lee Jones. And I think that there are a lot of acting awards that are going to go out for Lincoln, and other awards here, which we'll get to in a minute. But so, as I said, Daniel Day-Lewis already, so I don't think that Tommy Lee Jones, I think that's almost throwing away an award for the film. Okay, Best Supporting Actress, Amy Adams, The Master, Sally Field, Lincoln, Anne Hathaway, Les Mis, Helen Hunt, The Sessions, and Nicole Kidman, The Paperboy. I think this is actually a much more exciting race than any of the Best Actress categories for drama or musical or comedy. I think that Sally Field and Anne Hathaway are duking it out here. Sally Field could very well take it. I think that she did a really nice job with what could have been a thankless role and made it very memorable. Although I have to say, Helen Hunt, I think is a serious contender for The Sessions, and also Nicole Kidman for The Paperboy. I don't know if she'll actually win. Some people might feel this is another silly nomination, but I thought she did a really nice job with the role. I actually kind of like The Paperboy, as you might recall from the review I did of it. I thought it had a lot of merit. So I think she deserves to be there. Okay, Best Director. We have Ben Affleck for Argo, Catherine Bigelow for Zero Dark 30, Ang Lee for Life of Pi, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, and Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained. What an interesting category. I feel like I think everyone's kind of already had their time in the spotlight here, except maybe for Ben Affleck, because this is his first. I think he certainly has gotten kudos for being a director, but this is his first real time at like the adults table, I guess you could say, for this. And I actually would pick Ben Affleck for this if I had to, pick an exciting choice. I feel everybody else, all the other directors, are not terribly exciting because I don't think any of them are doing anything new. Zero Dark 30, very much like The Hurt Locker. Life of Pi, not terribly different from Ang Lee's other work. Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, I don't think Steven Spielberg was the real driving force behind that movie. He did an excellent job, but I think the best thing Spielberg did was not get in Lincoln's way. And Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained, I think the nomination is probably enough for him there. I don't think that he did anything. It wasn't the best work of his career. Okay, so yeah, Ben Affleck's my pick for Best Director there, and I think he actually might have a shot at it, which would be very exciting for him. Best Screenplay, Mark Bowl, Zero Dark 30, Tony Kushner, Lincoln, David O. Russell, Silver Linings Playbook, Quentin Tarantino, Django Unchained, and Chris Terrio for Argo. I gotta say, I think this is Tony Kushner's Golden Globe, and probably his Oscar. I think that anyone who can take history and make it seem so vital and alive and interesting, and yet I think still give a feeling of authenticity, is just really impressive. So I think that I would be surprised if he didn't win this this award, and as I said, the Oscar. So sorry, all the other guys in this category. And so we have 2 more to go. Okay, Best Animated Film. This is interesting because I think because animation is such a box office driven genre still, but yet it has this respect from the industry to get its own category. This is really the only category you see in the awards shows these days that has blockbusters in it, very, very mainstream films. So it's funny to see them kind of come in here. So you have Brave, Frankenweenie, which is the only, I think, slightly, artistic film here, Hotel Transylvania, Rise of the Guardians, and Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know. I loved those films. I saw 3 of them. Actually, I just really actually disliked Brave quite a bit. I think it's only there because it's a Pixar film. But I really loved Hotel Transylvania and Wreck-It Ralph. I would be really thrilled to see either of them. I wanted to see Rise of the Guardians, but they took it out of all the theaters near where I live, which is very frustrating. And Frankenweenie could take it because I feel like, it's a good kind of artistic film, as I said. But, I kind of like to see Wreck-It Ralph take it. No offense to Hotel Transylvania, great movie. But Wreck-It Ralph, I think, has a better message, and I think it has more interesting characters. I think it, pushes the edge of the envelope a little bit more, as much as a mainstream animated film can. So that would be my pick. I have no idea who's going to actually win it. I guess if I had to pick, I would say Frankenweenie at this point. All right, so last category. Best Foreign Language Film. I'm at a bit of a handicap here. I'm not totally familiar with all the films. We have Amour, A Royal Affair, The Untouchables, Kon-Tiki, and Rust and Bone. I actually would probably say I would be very, very expectant to see The Untouchables win this. I mean, I know that last year was all about The Untouchables when it swept across the globe, and it was just made over $100 million. It's like the biggest, most successful film to ever come out of France. I think the Hollywood Foreign Press Association will be really happy about that and want to give it the award here. Also, I think especially because it didn't really ever catch on here despite its success abroad. It caught on everywhere but America. So I would think that would take it, but I mean, as I said, I'm a bit of a handicap in this field. I know Amour has a lot of buzz, so that might also take it. But I mean, if you're more familiar with these films than I am, please share your thoughts down below. And so I'll share your thoughts down below about all the categories. What do you think of these nominations? Do you think that Salmon Fishing in the Yemen and Best Exotic Marigold Hotel are silly choices, or do you think they're good choices? What do you think of Meryl Streep getting a nomination for Hope Springs? Just write your thoughts down below. Tell me what you think, and continue to stay tuned to Beyond the Trailer for all your awards coverage, particularly for the Golden Globes and the Oscars. Thanks for watching. Bye.